And this initiative is designed to provide the support, training, tools, and care people need when they are facing tough times. So, what's the Initiative for Cognitive Therapies and Mental Health all about? Well, it's a program created to offer different types of therapies that help people feel better mentally and emotionally. We use science backed methods that are proven to work and can be customized to fit each person's needs. We focus on three main things. Number one, cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. This is one of the most effective ways to change negative thinking and behavior patterns. Whether someone is dealing with anxiety, stress, or depression, CBT gives them practical tools to get back on track. Number two, psychological first aid, PFA. Sometimes life throws us a curveball, like crisis or traumatic event, and we need immediate support. CFA is like emotional first aid that help people get through those tough moments when they need it the most. Number three, other modalities. We know that one size doesn't fit all, so we offer other types of therapy, like mindfulness, which helps people focus on the present and reduce stress, acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT, which helps people face their thoughts and feelings without letting them take over, solution focused therapy, where we help people find quick, practical solutions to their problems, traumatic informed therapy, which provides a safe space for healing after trauma. One thing we are passionate about is getting out into the community and spread the word about mental health. We offer workshops, trainings, and events to help people understand mental health better and to break the stigma around it, whether it's teaching simple stress relief techniques or helping people spot early warning signs of mental health issues. We believe everyone can benefit from mental health education. At the initiative, we don't just look at mental health in isolation. We believe in taking care of the whole person, mind, body, and spirit. That's why we work with healthcare professionals, social workers, and even spiritual leaders to make sure people get the full support that they need. How you get involved? As we move forward, we want to invite you to be part of this journey. Whether you're looking for help, wanting to volunteer, or interested in learning more about mental health, there is a place for you at the Initiative for Cognitive Therapies and Mental Health. Thank you so much for being here today and learning about this important initiative. If you'd like to get involved, get support, or just learn more, please visit our website at www.cognitiveng.org or give us a call. We're excited to walk this journey of mental health with you. We appreciate your time and we look forward to hearing from you. You do have a pleasant day and God bless you.
Hello, 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 and welcome to yet another webinar. Our webinar, usually is always every last Saturday of the month. So thank you for joining us. My name is Dr. Stephanie Okolo, and I'll be the moderator today. Without much time, I would like to introduce our guest speakers. Our first guest speaker is Mr. Sam. I call him for short Sam. Yerima Bala. So, Mr. Sam Yerima Bala, fondly known as Pastor Sam, hail from Adamawa State, Nigeria. He holds a degree in business, which is a bachelor's degree in business administration and management from University of Maiduguri. a master's degree in international affairs and diplomacy from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, and another master's in strategy and security administration from Nigerian Defense Academy Postgraduate School, Kaduna. Currently residing in the United States, Pastor Sam has served as a pastor and a life coach for over 20 years. He is a fellow of the Institute of Security and Forensic Studies, Nigeria, and previously worked as a strategy management affair at Albert Agro Consult, West Africa for 12 years. He's also a consultant in entrepreneurship and business development. And as chairman, he hosted the Institute of Business Development of Nigeria's annual conference in 2022 in Abuja. He's passionate for mental health advocacy in Nigeria and continues to strive to drive his engagement locally and internationally. Thank you very much, Pastor Sam, for joining us.
Thank you, Dr. Okolo. Good evening, everyone.
Thank you. Our next guest speaker is Malam Seidu Mainin Mohammed. Malam Seidu Mohammed is a professional in the built environment with a bachelor's degree in quantity surveying and a master's degree in project management. He is affiliated with the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors and has actively contributed to the project management and development initiative across Nigeria. Beyond his professional career, Malam Seidu he's passionate about using his voice and influence to support mental health awareness and advocacy, particularly in communities where conversations around mental health are often overlooked. Welcome, Malam Seidu.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. And for the audience, we would move to a very impactful interaction.
Good evening,
Uh,
all.
okay. So as we go
You know,
through, yeah, we can hear you. So as we proceed, I would ask the audience, wherever you are, on Facebook, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, X, and other modalities for network, please type your questions and we would try and find time to get to it. So my first question now is to Mr. Sam or Pastor Sam. In your view, what makes faith community a safe and supportive environment for those navigating mental health challenges?
a faith community can be a crucial source of support for individuals facing mental health challenges, by fostering a safe and understanding environment. This could involve a combination of several things like education, open dialogue, compassionate leadership, and practical support. Um, in the context of our society in Nigeria, the faith community, it's a very crucial platform of reaching out to people. I'll use myself as an example. While growing up, um, most of the teachings that we got beside the home was from the places of worship. And we never wanted anytime maybe mother or dad says, I'm going to tell your Sunday school teacher that you did this. We had that fear. We didn't want our Sunday school teacher to know that we did something wrong or we did not study our book or we're being disobedient. I believe it's the same thing to even in the Muslim community. So that faith community has always been an integral part of our growing up. It's a fabric of our society. And like it's always said, Nigeria, it's a very religious, nation. Now, not just Nigeria, but cutting across Africa. So that faith base, it's our lifestyle. Now, depending on what aspect of faith we're talking about, people can throw their life on the line because of what they believe. I know that there are people who they said they were sick and the doctor said there was no hope, and they were brought to church so that the church could pray. You see, so this shows how much people lay their life down in a faith-based community. And the faith-based community is a very good platform where the mental health advocacy can be advanced, so that people can be, properly educated and also nourished. Now, I also know that there are situations where people have brought certain challenges to church, and if only there was a mental health advocate or someone who was professionally inclined, such people would have had maybe a better outcome. You have a situation where around the faith-based community, like in the church setup, we have small groups. We have maybe men's group, female group, we have the children's group, teens group. And in the midst of all these small groups, there are different things that are advocated concerning lifestyle, faith, professions, and all that. But then the mental health aspect has been missing. I don't think while growing up, I ever had any opportunity to be in a class or some form of education of mental health. Even for me, while I was pastoring in Nigeria, mostly we try to isolate and just say, well, this is spiritual. But with my exposure to Institute of Cognitive Therapy and Mental Health initiative, for cognitive therapy and mental health, ably presided over by Dr. Okolo, um, I've seen things on a different scale, you know. So, but this faith-based community, it's also a platform that if mental health is properly advanced, like through education and awareness, openness, and some form of safe dialogue, people can be marvelously helped. They can be rightly helped. You see, because they are already putting their faith in that place, and whatever you teach them or whatever they are taught in those faith community, they take it. Sometimes they take it so extreme that, I mean, you wonder what exactly came over them. So I know that, like, I watched a video concerning a certain pastor who told his congregation to go out of church and eat grass, and he was somehow, So that's the extent of which such kind of platform can provide. Then we've seen also in the other side of the religion, how someone believed in something and acted in an extreme way. Now think about how that faith-based community, if we introduce mental health awareness into that, how people will take it. So I think it's a very, very powerful platform that people could conveniently be able to build their awareness, build knowledge, and also be able to receive help. So the faith-based community, especially in our context, Nigeria, it's a very good platform for people to receive help if it is advanced um, in the right way. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm not sure if we have Malam Seidu here. Malam Seidu, are you here? I think based on the network, he's been in and out. If we don't have him here as we speak, Mr. Sam, is okay. Is it okay to go back to you on my next question?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So while we're waiting for him, my next question for you now is, from your perspective, what role should clergy and faith leaders play in in addressing mental health needs among their congregants?
Okay. The saying goes that you cannot give what you don't have. Like I said, um, while I was pastoring in Nigeria, there are certain things that I didn't know concerning mental health. And so my approach to it was different. So, first of all, the clergy should be educated in line with mental health. Some of them are quite ignorant about it, and they also are victim of such things. I dare say that as a pastor, I know the kind of mental health stress that you can go through in so many ways. Let's give an example. You just had a long day and you came back home around 7 p.m. and you just took a shower, you took your meal, and you want to rest, and then you receive a distress call. Someone is in a critical condition. Now you don't just say, um, "No, I don't want to bother about that." You do whatever you can, you know. And so, with what is happening, you also begin to experience some form of mental health issues, and you may not even be aware. You see, so sometimes your response can now affect your own family, affect your health, affect so many other things. But when the clergy is properly educated and informed, then they can take an approach from that aspect by first of all helping themselves. Because caring for people takes a lot, especially when you have to deal with their spiritual, physical, and emotional needs. And you know, human beings are quite unstable. They are not like machines you can program and then predetermine that, okay, for the next 2 hours, I know this is how the outcome of this automation can work. But humans are different. When you feel somebody has gotten what you're saying, 5 minutes later, you can just be surprised that the person has retrogressed over a few months ago from what you are saying. So, first of all, I believe that the clergy should be the prime target. And let me give another example. If you have a clergy that leads 2,000 people and you're able to help that clergy with a knowledge and an understanding of mental health, indirectly you're reaching 2001. And because they are leaders who are respected by their congregants or their congregation or people who come to their place of worship, they listen to them. So when the clergy is impacted positively, he can say or she can say, look, I have exposed myself to this knowledge and it's working. And they can give practical example. So first of all, the leader, the person in charge, the clergy has to have that understanding, because without that understanding, they will not prosecute it well. And by subjecting yourself to a certain kind of knowledge and you get the benefit, it will give you that confidence and also the excitement and the boost to be able to talk about it. So after reaching the clergy and other leaders, then they can begin to form some form of structures within the system of the place of worship. Let me give an example. While I was pastoring, I also had some other pastors. So if I was in Nigeria now, what I would have done with this knowledge that I have and how I've exposed myself to it and how it's making an impact in me, I would tell those pastors, like if there are 10 of them, I'll say, okay, 10 of you, this is what has benefited me. So all of you will have to be trained. And then we have people within the churches or within the worship places of faith community that are not trained in the right way. That is when it has to do with mental health. Now, these people counsel other people. They counsel. Someone comes to the family member that's having a mental health challenge, and the first response, which is not the wrong response, okay, let's pray. What did the Bible say? Let's pray. And then they pray. Now, in the midst of it, the person's mind is unsettled. And we know that the person's mind is a place where they make their will and their emotions are caged. And that is something you cannot see. You see, but the knowledge that we have is when it is introduced into that place, it can determine how the person will respond. So we need to train the counselors. The counselors have to be put through basic, if not average, but basic knowledge of mental health. And so that when things come, the basic knowledge, they can give it to the people. And then where it gets beyond them, they can make a referral. I also would like to say, in the midst of the pastor's message, like I'm speaking from that perspective of a Christian faith community, um, the pastor can talk about mental health as it relates even in scripture and balance it on a consistent basis. And then the pastor can also establish a mental health, awareness department within the church. And it can be a primary step to educate, the congregation, anything that has to do with mental health, so that they can dispel sometimes myths and stigma, you know, and then the misconception. Because, like in the Nigerian context, they tell you um, this person is mad, and it becomes stigmatic, and that person even leaves church and every form of hope that they have. So, such mental health awareness in the faith-based community can help, and it's not also based on personal sin, like sometimes people will say this person committed a sin. Thank you, Dr. Okolo.
Thank you so much. That was quite impactful. And this is an interaction that has to be continuous. That is something that we'll keep diving in over and over again. There are a few thoughts that came to mind, but I'm going to hold that because of time. And if we do have that time, I will bring out that question. For Malam Saidu, welcome back. I understand that the network has been kicking you back in, back in. And so we appreciate your time for trying to bring yourself back. So I do have a question for you, or questions, but one of the question is, how do you see religious teaching and doctrines shaping how people understand mental health and decide whether to seek help?
Okay. Thank you, and sorry for everything. I've changed. I've changed 3 locations just to have this network. You can see it's a different background. Um, First of all, I miss almost everything my good brother has said. However, I'll give my own perspective of the question and probably one or two of the things I heard from him. Now, when we talk of mental health, to me, you're talking of emotion, you're talking of psychology, you're talking of social well-being, all these things that affect how we do things, how we think, how we feel, how we behave, and the rest of it. Now, if you say how religious teachings and doctrines shaping people's how they understand mental health, to me, I'll tell you everything is in order, because mental health itself is religion. Religion is mental health. You cannot practice any religion once the mental health is not balanced. And I think that should be like a mantra. There's no how religion can be practiced well if the mental health is not well itself. So I'm sure it's something that all the religious body will encourage. I know it's like that. I'm sorry, a little bit to the side. I know it's like that with Islam. For instance, you cannot do anything in Islam once that mental health is not stable. In fact, we are advised to do everything humanly possible to remain stable health-wise, because you can't perform any of the religious teachings once your mental health is has issues. Now, deciding to seek for help, why not? If one feels, even though at times we're told that some people don't know that some things are wrong with them until some other persons discuss with them. But you can also discuss at times when you see that things are not moving well with you. For instance, once you don't have strength, once your productivity is low, you should know that something is wrong. And you don't need a pastor or an imam to tell you that, look, seek for this help. So, as far as that aspect of religious teaching is concerned, sincerely, mental health and religious teachings go hand in hand. This is what I have. This is my submission on this.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That's quite interesting. I had to take note on that, the mental health and religious teaching or practices, they go hand in hand. And I also acknowledge the fact that you're talking about if you're not stable, then, how can you carry out what are the doctrines of your religion, and how
Sure,
can you function effectively? So
sure.
I'm going to stay on that question a little bit. But then you have, because I know that awareness is crucial, right? And so
Yeah.
if somebody is not stable and they don't know they are not stable because they are already immersed in that instability of their health, their well-being. For instance,
Yes.
there is a story about a woman who had a baby, and would refuse to breastfeed the child, and would refuse to take hold the child, and sometimes would refuse to eat and everything like that. So the family members and the in-laws who are not aware of what might be happening, they would start beating her, right? And beating her. She's a bad person. She's a terrible person. She has refused to carry the child and everything like that. Now, we know that, that is probably postpartum depression, right? And so, what can we do in that situation to create awareness? Now, is the awareness, can it be received? And if it can, what can we do in terms of the religious clergy and all that to help this community or the people, the system, because family is a system, to help them understand that what is going on with the woman, needs an attention.
Yes, very well. What you've just said is correct. And yes, in pockets of um, instances, we do have them. Also, sometimes what we retire problems of mental health to are issues of witchcrafting, some fetish thing, when some things happen, especially in our religious homes, in our places of worship. Sometimes we say somebody is bewitching you. It might not be that. It might just be that you're stressed. It might just be that you are exhausted. All these elements that are attached to mental health might just be your problem. Now, that lady who has, for one reason or the other, refused to breastfeed the baby might just be going through some issues that are related to mental health. And rather than finding out, you go insulting her, you go beating her, that again could be retired to the fact that the people around her don't even know what mental health is all about. Because this is something that can have multiple of problems. And unless you're able to understand that, look, so person is going through stress. And mind you, stress is something that can metamorphose and would appear to somebody in from several angles in several folds. So rather than resulting to provocation, resulting to insult, resulting to beating, resulting to abuses, it would have been nice if you have people who are knowledgeable in this area who would know that, look, so thing that is happening is not fetish. Nobody is bewitching anybody. And okay, let me also add one thing. You know, there are some of these things, once they happen around us, we just say, oh, okay, they are just destined to happen. Is what God has destined on us. No, God cannot send anything bad to you. Sometimes we just refuse to do what you are supposed to do to leave ourselves mentally sound. Now, coming to approaching the problem, I want to believe anybody who heads a congregation, if you're truly leader of a congregation, and by congregation, I mean religious congregation, sincerely, you should be knowledgeable enough to know that some things are not spiritual, unless if we just want to, for whatever reason, want to hide that they are spiritual issues. No, a lot of things that happen to us are not spiritual. There are things that when we do, we take care of ourselves. Those things might never happen. So when you meet some of these leaders, if they don't know, I want to assume if they don't know, you explain to them. And like I started, there is no religion. There's no religion that will not want you to be fit. You cannot practice any religion if you're not fit. So it's for you to approach whoever leads to for the person to know that yes, this is the problem, that is the problem, and this is how we go about it. This is how we go about it. It's as simple as that. Okay, I can see that you're back. Maybe my time is up. When I come back, I'll
Thank you.
complete it.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. It's quite informational. I'm very grateful for you being to dive into it and provide clarity for us. I'm still going to stay on you, so be patient with me. So I do have another question for you. And so, what barriers or challenges do faith communities encounter when engaging with mental health issues, and how might this be addressed?
Well, I think part of the answer I have mentioned. They are, to me, they are not really they are not really barriers, are they? They are not really barriers. You know, usually people just conclude that some things are bound to happen. No, we probably make them happen. God Himself cannot send anything bad towards you. It's just that we have refused to do what we're supposed to do. Now, um, if you ask me, how do we address them? Simple. Once you see if you're able to if you notice that you have either gone down productivity wise, if you see you're stressed out for reasons you don't know, if you see you're just unnecessarily getting angry over reasons you cannot pinpoint, please, one of the things to do is just talk to a colleague. Find somebody and talk to. If you have professionals around, please talk to those professionals. If you are the type that does and probably you've left that exercise for some time, please go back to your exercise. If you're somebody who does not do exercise, please just go and do exercise. A solution again is for those of us who work ourselves all day, please, as much as possible, that work-life balance, you must just check it. Again, you should know when to break. Take some break, take some vacation before you now break down, before some of these mental issues begin to manifest. So it's as simple as that.
Mm.
Thank you.
Thank, thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'll move next to Pastor Sam. Pastor Sam, this question is for you. In what ways can faith-based programs and gatherings integrate mental health education and advocacy?
Okay. In those places of worship or faith-based community, when people come, they believe that every aspect of the meeting is important, from the prayer time to the message. Like I'm talking about the Christian faith-based community, to worship, singing, to giving everything. They know it's structured in the way that they should participate as a form of worship. And so um, the clergy should introduce in the midst of the program, as much as possible, every week or even every program. It doesn't have to be too long. They could make snippets or short points and make people to rehearse them, you know, and it could be 5 minutes within the time of the service. That education and awareness is so important. That is the primary step, to educate the congregation, because there are some churches that meet 3 times in a week, some 4 times in a week. And during those weekly activities, such awareness should be created, you know, and the pastor can, like I said earlier, the pastor can get trained in the act of mental health, or they could get basic form of training, you know, that with that they can be able to talk about it. They should be the first and the primary person to champion it, you know. And then when they have special programs, they can invite people who are professionally inclined and give them more time. For example, monthly, they can organize a program and just call it spirituality and mental health meets and all that, and invite, their congregation to attend it. And it can be an open engagement, can be open so that they can have safe dialogue, a situation where spaces are created for people to be comfortable, discussing the mental health without any form of judgment, and also allowing them to break up into groups. I know ICTMH does this every Friday. So I say to anyone that is participating now that ICTMH does that mental health awareness every Friday. Nigerian time is 8 p.m. And such kind of meetings, and at the end of it, after the facilitator has spoken, we break out into sessions, and in that session is open. People share their personal experiences, they ask questions, and we have lead team, that answer those questions. I have to make that group very interactive. And so in such kind of open groups, they can make it that there's transparency, no condemnation. And I believe also that this awareness should not be channeled only through the adult church, because we've come to realize that children go through a lot of mental health, challenges, especially when the parents also are having stress. It trickles down on the children. And there are some basic knowledge too that can be transmitted to these children, because I know one time that a child was asked, in school while he was doing bad, his results has gone down, and he said, well, because his daddy and his mommy, they're always fighting, so all he does when he goes back home is to try and find where he can hide, and he's traumatized and all that. So we would not forget the children, otherwise the problem builds up and we try to solve it when they are now adults. So that can also be introduced in the children's church curriculum, you know, and all that. Then it can be integrated in the time of counseling. We don't wait until people are having mental health challenges. It just become like a daily or a consistent ongoing training, even for those who they have no signs or, exhibited. So they can inculcate it into their daily or weekly activities, and then small groups. Most of these faith-based communities have small groups. Some of them, they are localized based on the streets where they live or the area where they live, so their teaching curriculum could be filled with such things. And like I said, even during the services, the pastor can make them say certain things in repetition, concerning the knowledge. It can be put on the screen and people will just recite and go home with it. And if the pastor says something like this week, or in this service, when the next one comes, he should say, okay, I have a question from the previous class I gave you. And anyone who gets the answer right, I will give a prize. And it begins to attract people, so, and then the awareness becomes fun now and people begin to joke with it. You discover that that's what they'll be talking about. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. So,
Yeah.
I may not cover all my question, but something struck me while you were talking. So, talking about inculcating things and also integrating things into a program. And so, what came to mind is that I wonder what it would look like. So, as a chaplain in the United States Army, what one of the things we do is counseling and everything. But what struck me is when it comes to Catholicism, right? And you find the priest, right? People before service would come in, right, and for confession and perhaps get counseling from the priest or after the event. So I wonder what it would look like. I don't know if most churches do have it or most mosques do have it. I wonder what would happen if that idea can be integrated, right, into a system, a church system, a mosque system, where people not only set an appointment, but there's an allocated time, before a service or after service, where people can come in and seek help or talk about something. I'd like to hear your opinion on that as well as Malam Zaidu.
Okay. When it has to do with the Catholic way of practicing Christianity, is different from the one that I was raised. But we also know that a lot of people sometimes, because of that opportunity to go and confess to the priest, they have over time maybe stopped doing those terrible things because it's a sign of confidence, and belief. So when it comes to like the faith-based community that I belong, I believe that such kind of engagements are very important. Not that everybody will come that I want to confess or do that, but to get that one-on-one can be very important. And also to duplicate. Let me give a simple example, since we're talking from the faith-based community. In the Bible, Moses went to deliver the children of Israel out of Egypt. And by the time he brought them out, they were in the wilderness. He would sit down, and we learned from scripture that there are over 3 million people that were brought out of Egypt. And he would sit down from morning to night, solving one problem to another, whether it's spiritual, mental, and all that. And then his father-in-law advised him and said, look, this thing you are doing, you're going to wear yourself out, and you're going to wear the people out. So why don't you choose leaders among the people, and you lay hands on them, or you teach them what to do, and they will be able to save you this stress of when you have 30 people, they line up, you handle one problem to the other. And Moses said, this is a very good thing. So he did that, and then it helped. And they had people who were called judges in Israel, who judged the people rightly. So um, it should be inculcated. But let's not also forget that without trained leadership, trained counselors who know what to do, it will still come back to almost the same thing. Lest you have someone who is having challenges come to talk to a counselor, and then at the end of the day, the counselor is traumatized. Because there are certain things that if you are not trained and somebody comes to tell you, it's a problem. I remember several years ago, a certain guy confided, because I was his pastor, and he said, look, I just want to confess about something. I want you to help me. And I said, what? And he said that he had done some atrocities that it will take you the grace of God to just believe this person is here for good. You get what I mean? So, but we had an engagement, and gradually, like that, he picked up, and he's a wonderful person now. So, that engagement is very important. That inculcation, those meetings that we help is so very important. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pastor Sam. Thank you. Wow, that was great. Malam Saidu, I would like to hear your views on the same question.
Sorry, I missed the question. Network problem. Could you please?
Okay, so the question was, with the experiences that I have as a chaplain and counseling, I encountered or I observed that in Catholicism, when you have the chaplains who are priests, what they do is that they have some, will have or maybe all would have confessions, confession time before the service or after the service, right? And so that gives people opportunity to whether either, when they come confess and they get counsel from the priest. I wonder what it would look like, whether in the realm of the churches and the mosque, what that would look like if it's integrated in their program, where people are given the opportunity. Not that it has to be bad for them to now say, oh, I have to go and see the imam, but that opportunity is created within that service to say, okay, this is the time people would come in and get counsel, or after, or maybe there is. So I just wanted you to shed light on them.
Okay, in just one sentence or two sentences. Um, Again, I think Mr. Sam has done justice to the other side. Let me just tell you that on this other side, it's a 24-hour thing. You're encouraged at any time of the day to confess or to seek advice of your religious leaders at any time. Doesn't have to be, for instance, shortly before the congregation or shortly after the congregation. No, at any time T, you're encouraged to do that because you are always expected to be the best you can be, social wise, religious wise, health wise. So it's something that it is enshrined in the religion that at any time T, if you're seeking for guidance, please do. If it's a question for clarity, please do. Anything you want to just want to find out in order to make yourself a better person, just do at any time. So that is it on the other side.
Wow, thank you very much. Thank you. That is much appreciated. So I'll take one more question each. I'll see the question out, and then hopefully we can answer it, quickly, so we can round up. Mr. Sam, my question is for you. Um, Okay, so what we'll do is maybe we'll take a last word from you so that we can run out. What would you have to say in concerning this topic and everything we've talked about? What can you bring home to the audience at this moment?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Kolo. When we talk about mental health advocacy in places of worship, I see it as a very crucial and very important topic, and also not just the topic, but a project that should be prosecuted with proper perspective, knowing that places of worship are regarded as faith-based, of which people, give almost everything. They believe once they come there, whatever the clergy says, they believe, they have hope. That's some people's lifeline. That's all they are holding on to. That hope based on the faith community. And so the education and awareness is so very important because that is highly lacking. This is a primary step that can be taken to educate beginning with the clergy, those who are in places of authority within the structure of every faith-based, community, to have the basic knowledge. They need to be trained. And then we have to create an open and safe place for dialogue. You know, this can be achieved through support groups. People should not have this perspective that they are problematic or they have problem. In that open space, they can discuss, giving like an outline, that they can use to engage with one another and contribute. We talk about compassionate and trained leaders also. Leaders should learn to show compassion. You don't just overlook and tell the person what is wrong with you. Don't you have faith? Can't you just pick up? You know, and then sermons should not be stigmatized. There's a way that a pastor, a clergy can communicate without necessarily putting people's attention on a particular person or group or someone that is having such kind of challenges. That is so important. Then integration of faith, into health, wellness should be done in a positive approach because, when we look at spirituality, we shouldn't look at it as if it is away from mental health. These are interwoven, just like we have discussed earlier. And this is very important. Then we have practical support and collaboration with mental health institutes or clinics, within communities to take advantage of that. And such kind of communities through government can be invited to help support because in Nigeria, if they see you entering any kind of institute that has to do with mental health, some people will start realize that this person don't mad. So and such people can come with an awareness and people will begin to befriend them and be their friends and see that anytime they come around, it is in order to create awareness and to help to provide the richness of the knowledge that has. So partnership with them to provide books, materials, trainings, and establishing some support group that they could head within those worship or faith-based environment. Thank you.
Thank you greatly. Thank you very much. Malam Saidu, last words or your input, based on this topic, so that the audience can have a takeaway.
Um, Moderator, I don't know what else you want me to add. I think Mr. Sam has just summed everything up. But if I may add just a word or two. Sincerely, if I'd started, I would have said most of the things he said because those basically what we need. The addition is, in places of worship, information we get from those places, once brought out, they spread like wildfire in the Hamatan, as people would say. So any information correctly passed there, and like I said earlier, devoid of any fetish connotation. Once those information are passed and they are doable, and the people you have passed this information to have seen that yes, this information passed, of course, talking of mental health, this information passed is an information that will assist me sitting here taking the information is also information that if I take out to A, B, C, D, is information that will also assist A, B, C. I assure you this thing will go places. And what are we talking of? The same thing. Look, if everybody if everybody gets to be aware of this mental health, if people know what it is to be mentally sound, sincerely, I think we'll be living close to a very perfect world. I don't want to say perfect, but very close to a perfect world. That's all we need. That look, the information is let out correctly, and people come out. This information spreads, and that is how it goes. And it's information that everybody needs, that everybody would work with, and perfect. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, to the audience, you have heard all what all was discussed here, based on our guest speakers, and I think for me, I have learned a lot. So always tune in every end of the month, last Saturday of the month, same time to join us in this dialogue and interactions. It is crucial so that we can spread as wide as we can go. And so one of the things I like to mention here before I end this session is that we're advocating, we're also encouraging people to come up and write. You know, we have an organization where articles can be published and it is registered with your ISSN. So we encourage people to come and write research article. We have guidance that we can guide you on how to publish and how to write. So we strongly encourage people so that our voice can be heard, right, in the world. We don't want our diagnosis to be based on the westernized context. So a little of your input will go a long way to help people understand, the signs or symptoms that we carry or exhibit, right? And so that we can get the proper care that we need. So I strongly encourage you guys to go to our website, www.cognitiveng.org, to go through it and see our journal articles that are already been published and see how we can help you. And also, I encourage you to go to our platforms, our website, to just hear more about us. And so this is the end of the session. I thank everyone for, taking out time to join us this Saturday, and I look forward to seeing you next Saturday. Thank you and have a pleasant day. Bye.
Thank you for having us.
Hello there, this is Dr. Okolo. Welcome to the Journal for Cognitive Therapy and Mental Health, a premier platform for advancing knowledge and practices in the field of mental health and cognitive therapy. Are you a mental health professional, researcher, or academic based in Nigeria? Are you passionate about sharing your insight, research findings, or innovative approaches to cognitive therapy and mental health? As a researcher and a practitioner, I believe that publishing in a peer-reviewed journal is vital for contributing to the global discourse on mental health, especially from an African perspective. The Journal for Cognitive Therapies and Mental Health provides you with the opportunity to publish both peer-reviewed articles and non-peer-reviewed articles for free. Yes, absolutely free. You see, publishing in this journal helps showcase our unique challenges, successes, and innovative solutions in cognitive therapies and mental health. It is time for Nigeria's voice to be heard on a global stage. So you may ask, why should you publish with us? Here are 5 reasons why you should. Number 1, your research and clinical experiences are valuable. By publishing your work, you contribute to the body of knowledge that informs and improves mental health practices, not just in Nigeria, but globally. Number 2, Nigeria, like many other African countries, has unique cultural, social, and economic contexts that affect mental health. Publishing your insight helps others to understand this context and tailor more effective interventions. Number 3, publishing in a reputable journal enhances your professional standing. It demonstrates your expertise, dedication, and commitment to advancing mental health practices. Number 4, publishing opens door to networking and collaboration opportunities with your other professionals, both local and internationally. It fosters partnership that can lead to joint research projects, conferences, and more. Number 5, published research can influence policy changes, funding allocations, and the development of mental health programs. Your work could be the catalyst for better mental health care policies in Nigeria. Publishing with the Journal for Cognitive Therapies and Mental Health is a chance to be part of something bigger. It is a chance to make a real difference. So we invite you to submit your research, case studies, literature reviews, and thought-provoking articles, whether it is a peer-reviewed research paper or an insightful opinion piece, your voice matters. Join us in shaping the future of cognitive therapies and mental health in Nigeria and beyond. Visit our website at www.cognitiveng.org to learn more and start your submission today. We look forward to hearing from you. I know you can do it.